Dear student, I am Dr. Vishal Kumar Lahiri, an assistant professor at Institute of Management Studies, Banaras Hindu University. I welcome you to the course titled Principles of Management, and we were in Unit 1 and we have covered up till the Module 2. In the Module 1 and Module 2, we have tried to understand the basic management concept, principles, functions and its importance, along with the different management nature. We have tried to understand the concept of management and administration, as well as we try to solve the question whether the management is a science, management is an art, or management is a profession. So, in the last class we examined that management is a science, and we have given some logic for that as well. Like in the science subject, we have different principles, and these principles are based on some experiments. In the management also, we have seen that there are different principles upon which the managers are taking the decisions. We discussed about some principles about the Fayol, some scientific management principles of the Taylor. In the coming section, we will be discussing about these principles, but based on these notion, we can say that management is also a science. Management is an art because management we practice. The more and more the manager practices, the more the manager will be able to take good decisions. And we concluded that management is a profession, but it is not fully a profession because of some of the features of the profession is not matching with the management discipline. So, we concluded that management is a science, management is an art, but management as a profession, it is growing. In the Module 3 of the part 1, that is Introduction to the Management that we are discussing, Module 3 will be covering up the levels of the management. And as you can see, the overview of the management or the Module 3, we will be discussing about introduction to the level of management, top management and its function, middle management and its function, lower management and its function, and we will be trying to make a comparison between all the levels of the management. Now, the introduction to the level of management. As we know, in an organization, all the activities are performed in a group. There are different categories of the employees working together. One employee will be there who will be taking the key decisions for the management. The employee, they will be doing the strategic analysis, they will be formulating the policies, they will be formulating, setting up the objective of the company. So, these categories of the employee will be at the very top level. Some employees who will be like following the orders of the top level managers or the like CEO, MDs, they will be the top level manager, and the middle level manager, they will be following the orders from the top level manager, and they will be executing the different policies and the strategies, so that they will be working on the production process, manufacturing process, or any kind of operation processes. Last one will be your lower level manager, or the characteristic of these employees will be like following the instruction given by the middle level manager. So, we can see that there are different clusters of the employees working together for the accomplishment of objectives. Introduction to the level of management. In an organization, there exists a chain of command from the ultimate authority to the lower rank. So, in an organization, you will see that there will be authority from the top level to the lower level, and there exists a chain of command. It means the command will be there from the top to lower, and suggestion and some kind of instruction will flow from lower to the upper level. So, this hierarchy, overall this hierarchy is termed as the level of management. So, chain is formed of superior subordinate relationship. In the any employee working together in a group, there will be some person who will be the subordinate, there will be one person who are the superior or the bosses. If in the top level manager, if the employees is more emphasized on planning, policy formulation, strategies development, vision and the mission of the companies. They will be the superior and they will be at the higher rank and they will be the bosses. Who will be following the instruction? The subordinate will be following the instruction. The subordinate at this stage will be the middle level manager, who are the different departmental heads, like the production department, manufacturing department, sales department, HR department and so on. So there will be a superior subordinate relationship between the employees. So in level of management, this is very important, the relationship between the superior and the subordinate. Third one, it determines the authority and status of the manager. Like in the hierarchy of management or the levels of management, status of the manager is differentiated. As mentioned, in the top level manager, the status of the manager is more respect towards taking the conceptual decisions. Alright, in the lower level manager, the employees will be more restricted towards taking the human or technical skills or the technical decisions. In the lower level manager, it will be more towards the implementing the overall work assigned by the top level manager as well as the middle level manager. The characteristics of the level of the management, that we do not fix only 2 levels, 3 levels. Okay, like generally we see that the level of management is comprised of 3 levels, that is top level, middle level and the lower level. But it is not a fixed number. It depends based on the types of the organization, the types of the activities being performed within the organization, or the size and the complexity of the businesses. If the business complexity is too high, number of operation is too high, the presence of the organization is in the national level or into the global level, then it may be that the organizational level or the hierarchy will also be too many. Correspondingly, if the level of the management or the complexity or the operation of the company is low or restricted to a particular division or a particular geographical location, then the number of hierarchy will be lower. It could be only 3 level of the management, top level, middle level and the lower level. Okay. So there is no fixed rule which emphasizes on the level of the management. Number of level of management increases with the increase in the size and the work for business and the vice versa. Okay, as mentioned, more and more activities will be performed, more and more diverse operation will be performed, number of operation at the different location, then the hierarchy level could go up. And if it is lower, then the hierarchy level will be like 2 or 3, as we have discussed, the top level, middle level and the lower level. And understanding these level is crucial for grasping and dynamics and functioning of an organization. Like a good manager is one who try to coordinate between all the levels of the management. If any kind of suggestions, any kind of observation being given by the middle level and the lower level, it should be properly passed on to the upper level management or the top level management. And on the other side, if any kind of direction, any kind of feedback, any kind of new product concept is being passed on from the top level management to the lower or the middle level manager, it should be properly communicated so that they will be working based on the objective and based on the nature of the product which is being discussed. So this was the level of the management. To briefly conclude, what do you understand by the term level of the management? Level of the management is the different hierarchical position upon which the authority and responsibility of each of the employees are assigned. In each level of the management, you will see that the power or the status of all the employees are different, and it is done for the purpose of smooth functioning and proper coordination of all the activities which is linked towards achievement of the organizational objective. Okay. So now we know what is level of management. We should discuss the different layers of the hierarchy. As you can see in this picture, generally the overall organizational structure is divided into 3 layers. One is comprised of the top level manager, middle level manager and the lower level manager. As you can see, in the top level manager, there will be board of directors and chief executive officers. So they are having the higher authority and they are the decision makers. In the middle level manager, the departmental divisional heads, plant superintendent, branch manager, these will be the component in the middle level manager. So these managers will be more oriented towards implementing the work of the top level managers. Alright, so the order received from the top manager or the top management, it is the duty and responsibility of the middle manager to execute these things in the process part. Last one is the lower level manager, and largely you will see that foremen, supervisors, these workers, daily wage workers, they will be the component of the lower level managers. So the middle level manager gives the instruction to the lower level manager and day-to-day activities are performed in the lower level manager. So overall, this is a scenario of the level of the management where the overall organizational structure is divided into top, middle and the lower level of the manager. Now next, we try to understand each level of the management in more details. So very first one, we have discussed the top level manager. So top, as you can see, top level management consists of executives such as board of directors, CEOs, president, vice president and the directors. Now these employees are more responsible for taking the crucial decision regarding the policy formulation, idea generation with respect to any kind of strategies or any kind of identification of the problem in the organizations. These are the component of the top level manager. Second one, it is the ultimate source of management authority. The top level manager comprised of more power, more decision making capacity, so that they are having ultimate authority to take any kind of decision in the organization. Like the top managers are more policy formulator, or they oversee the business from the different perspective or from the global perspective. They consider the opinions of the others so that it can be used for the process of any kind of new business developments. Okay, so the authority or the power of the top level manager is the supreme one. Next, it is accountable for overall management to the shareholder of the company. Top managers are responsible for any activity to be formulated in the organization, and they are accountable to the different shareholder or the different stakeholder of the company. Like any decisions taken by the management or the top level manager will directly influence the any kind of investment or any kind of decisions impacted by the different stakeholders. Let me take one example. If company ABC's directors or the vice president is taking some decision with respect to launching a new product. So this is a type of the conceptual decision, and they will be more oriented towards the exploration of the new market, development of the new product, segmenting the new market, understanding the consumers, convincing your suppliers, your bankers, financial institution, and so many prolonged decisions are there if you want to start a new business. So it will directly influence the different stakeholders. Suppose the investors of yours, the company ABC, the shareholders, the different banks, different suppliers, they will be influenced by your decisions. If your product is a very good product, then ultimately the market share of your company will grow up and it will influence the investor profit. Okay, so top level manager is accountable for all the responsibilities for the different stakeholders. Last one, top level manager are focused on long term planning and guiding the organizational towards vision and mission. Like as compared to the lower level manager or the middle level manager, which are more oriented towards taking the day-to-day business decisions. Okay, like any kind of supply of raw material, payment of wages, all right, any kind of repair work. So these are the day-to-day activities. But the top level manager, they are more focused towards taking the long-term decisions. If any objective that they are formulating, those objectives will be reflecting for suppose 3 to 5 years, 10 years. It is not like 1 year, 6 months. So these decisions are very much crucial and very important element for the success or growth of the businesses. Okay, and it should be matching towards the vision of the company. So these are some features of the top manager. As we have discussed, top managers consist of your vice president, board of directors, chief executive officers, and other directors. All right, and it is a most powerful level of the management because they enjoy the higher authority, and they are responsible to the different stakeholders, and the decisions taken by them is of long-term decisions. So these are some of the features. Now the key functions of the top management. Very first one, as you can see in this slide, formulating the long-term objectives, strategies and policies of the organization. As we have discussed, the key function of a top manager is for long term. Now the objective, policies, strategies, these are designed not for a year or 6 months. It should be based on the long term return of the company, and it should be based on some vision or some kind of strategies should be formulated based on some external factors as well. If suppose in a particular country, the economic situation of a country is in the boom sector, the company or the top management will be taking the decision based on these factors, like the economic factor, the political factor, the social factors, and these factors are for long time. All right, so their objective, their strategies should be aligned with the external factors. Second one, analyze and address external environmental forces. Now what is external environmental forces? Any business is influenced by two forces. One is your internal forces and second is your external forces. Now the internal factors or the internal forces can be managed by the company itself. Suppose you want to train your employee's performance is not so good, then it is under the purview of the company to enhance the skills of the employees. Okay, it is something which can be controllable, but there are certain factors which are beyond the control. For example, the political factor, the economical factor, social factors, technological factors. These factors are beyond the control of the organization and the management. So top level manager should do the environmental scanning or the external factor scanning before taking any kind of long-term decisions. Any change in these external factors will influence your business directly. We can take another example. We have seen a very different kind of situation or the environment when pandemic occurred. So it was a type of environment which influenced all the sectors all the business was not prepared. No one was prepared for these kind of situation. So it is the decision of the management to tackle or deal with how to deal with these kind of situations. All right. So assessing the external factor or the environmental factor is very paramount before taking any kind of decision. Third one is allocation of resources to different business units and department. Now it is the responsibility or the task of the management or the top level manager to ensure that all the activities are grouped and the resources should be properly allocated to each of the business units, each of the department. Next one, establish organizational structure and authority responsibility relationship. Organizational structure and responsibility authority relationship is very important. Organizational structure is like dividing the different overall organization into the different levels, the top level, the middle level and the lower level. Okay. And authority responsibility relationship is with respect to assigning or imparting the different power to the employees or the group of the employees so that they can perform the activities with ease. Okay. Next is appoint key executive and departmental heads. Now the top level manager, they will be appointing and recruiting the managers at the middle levels. Okay. Like they will be appointing the different departmental heads. The departmental heads of production, marketing, sales, HR, they will be recruiting. Next is represent the company externally. Now internal employee from the middle level or the lower level, they will not be representing the employee to the external parties or the different stakeholder. It is the duty of the top level manager to represent or to symbolize the company to the different stakeholders. All right. Any kind of public release, news release, any kind of new product launch, any kind of changes in the management, it should be through the top level manager. Coordinating the operation of various departments for cohesive functioning. It is the duty of the top level manager as well that they should ensure smooth functioning of all the activities within the organization and within the departments. If there is some kind of clash between the production department and the marketing department, they should ensure that the conflict should be resolved for the overall organizational objective. Last one, conduct comprehensive review and control of the company's operation. So primarily there are two decisions which are very much important by the top level management. One is the planning and second one is the controlling. Now planning is with respect to the future course of action. Now future course of action is your objectives, strategies, policies. All right. So these are the future course of the decisions. Now operation or the controlling part is with respect to ensuring that all the employees at all the levels of the management, they should be within the aligned objective or the framed objective of the organization. There should not be the deviation. If any kind of deviation the top manager observed, it should be at that time it should be corrected. All right. So these are the key function of the top level management. Now moving beyond. Second hierarchy is your middle level management. Now middle level management, as you can see in the slide, comprises of departmental or the divisional heads such as plant manager, sales manager, office managers and many others. So the departmental head will be representing the middle level manager and they will be giving the instruction to the different lower level manager. Now departmental heads will be taking the orders or the any kind of opinion by the top level manager and they try to execute the instruction of the top level manager to the lower level manager so that the activity should be performed. Second one, each functional manager is responsible for efficient functioning of their department. Now, from the middle level manager onwards, the divisions are created. Each division has their own activities. Now, take an example. We assume 3 divisions are there in a company. One is your production department, one is your sales department, another is your HR department. So, these 3 departments is having their distinctive activities. Production department will be more focused towards purchase of the raw material, how the raw material will be converted to the semi-finished product or the finished products, how they should be ensure that the cost of the product per unit will be lower. So, these are some of the activities of the production department. Marketing department will be more oriented towards how the product which is manufactured by the production department should be reached to the ultimate customers, how the promotion things can be designed, how to influence the consumers, how the salesperson should be motivated. So, these are the task and responsibility of the sales management or the marketing department. Last one is the HR department. So, human resource department or the human resource management will be more oriented towards managing the divisional activities are there, and each activity will be performing for overall contribution, or their overall contribution will be there towards the major objective, which is the organizational objectives. Okay. So, every manager is responsible for their efficient functioning of their own department. There will be no clash between the 2 departments, and there will be no opinion or any kind of decision making of one department to the other department. It could be when the situation arises, but generally it has seen that there will be no conflict or any kind of decision making by one department to another department. One department will be following all the instruction from the departmental heads of that department only. Next one is transmit orders, decisions and guidance downwards, and problem, difficulty and suggestion onwards. So, middle level manager, as we can see in this hierarchy, if you can see, the middle level manager is at the middle of the organizational structure. It means the middle level manager will be following the instruction from the top level, alright, and they will be supplying the instruction to the lower level. It is one side. On the other side, the lower level manager, they will not be directly reporting to the top level manager. Who are the immediate bosses for the lower level manager? The departmental heads who are in the middle level manager. They are the immediate bosses. So, they will be providing opinion, feedback from the downward to the upward. From downward, it means from the lower to the middle, and the middle level manager will be passing on the information from middle to the upper. Okay. So, this is the hierarchy. And last one, it can be put into 3 categories: upper middle and the lower middle management. So, it totally depends on the structure of the organization, the size of the organization, the complexity of the different activities, okay, and based on that, the middle level management can also be segregated into the upper middle, lower middle and the middle management, alright. So, these are some of the features or some of the we can define what is middle level management. Now, the key functions being performed at the middle level management. So, as you can see, very first one is interpret and explain the policies framed by the top level management. We have already discussed that in this particular middle level management, the main objective is to take the instruction from the top level manager and pass on the instruction to the lower level manager. So, any kind of problem by the lower level management, it will be communicated to the top level manager, and any kind of opinion or the suggestion by the top level management, it should be transferred or it should be communicated to the lower level management. formulate tactical plan and short term based on the overall long term organizational plan. Now, once the top level manager formulate a policies, any kind of objective. So, objective is a big term now. Suppose the objective is to capture a new market. So, how it can be done? So, it is the duty of the middle level manager to divide the overall plan or the overall objective into the sub objective or the tactics. So, strategy is how the strategy can be achieved by the small tactics. Okay. So, they formulate the tactical plan for the short term based on the overall long term objective. Recruit supervisory personnel, like what we have discussed, the middle level managers or the divisional heads will be recruited by the top level managers, the CEOs, MDs and all. However, the divisional heads will be recruiting the supervisory personnel. Okay. So, in the middle level manager, they will, in the lower level manager, there will be some manager as well who will be recruited by the divisional heads. Allocate resources to the various section and department. It is the duty of the middle level manager to provide sufficient resources in terms of raw material, in terms of authority, in terms of any kind of decision making support. Okay. So, all the supplies, all the resources should be communicated or it should be provided by the middle level manager to the supervisory level or the lower level manager. Participate in operating decisions, like majority of the work of the lower level manager is with respect to the operation. So, it may be sometimes they may need some suggestion or they may face difficulty. So, it is the duty of the lower level manager or the divisional heads to provide any kind of suggestion or the feedback for their resolution of the problem. Coordinate function for the various department. Okay. Coordination is very important at the all level of the management, be it the top level, middle or the lower level. So, as many people are working in a group, so coordination should be there at the lower level, at the middle level as well. Motivate the supervisory personnel. Motivation is also one of the element, and like many people are working, and ultimately the lower level manager is the one who is converting the raw material to the product. Okay. So, the monotonous type of work they are performing, the daily activities they are performing. So, it is very essential that they should be motivated. Training is also one of the part, like provide proper training and development program for the supervisory level. Controlling, so just like the top manager is controlling the overall activity, it is the duty of the middle level manager is to control the performance of the lower level manager as well. So, that's all for the lecture module 3, and in the upcoming modules we will be discussing about, or we will be continuing about the lower level manager, as well as how the what are the key functions of the lower level manager, as well as the comparison between each level of the management. That's all. Thank you.